Let's continue here. Our defense of Sicily. Think we've done what we could. Yeah. The light AA isn't very good against the strategic bombers, or the heavy bombers, whatever you want to call them. But we've stripped away a lot of their escorts, so hopefully now we can start focusing more and more. Still got a few attack aircraft. Hopefully he'll get back. They've made it to the high ground there. Oh, there we go. I was expecting that coming. And that severely breaks up any attack. Not as much as I was hoping, but still. We are facing a lot of opponents here. Now this is a problem for us. This is the Brooklyn. The Brooklyn has 5 3-gun, 8-inch gun turrets. 8-inch gun? 6, yeah, 8-inch gun. No. 6-inch guns, sorry, 5 6-inch gun turrets. Devastating gunnery bombardment, and very much so on for shore bombardment. What we need to do is sink the thing. So we have just the thing to do that over here. And we'll get a little light anti-aircraft. Hopefully not enough to really damage us. Now we got to make sure that we escort that bomber well. And that is partially going to dictate some of our tactics here. Okay, he needs to be rebuilt. And yes, I should have attacked with the AA guns first. That was my mistake, but I will do so here. I do at least try to learn from my mistakes. We're going to at least try to teach them to yeah, I think coming over here and hurting this guy would be... Oh, damn. Again, I should have attacked with that first. Oh well. Ugh. I can say I try to learn from my mistakes. But that is not always a successful thing, I guess. I'd rather fully take out one air unit, or at least cripple it badly, versus just knocking down that one a few times. Yeah, that isn't going to be overly useful. Need to get my artillery over here. Good. So we're going to pursue up to there so that we just hold the high ground. They'll get the anti-tank support there. Now, that could be a little painful. Fortunately, I have that. Okay, well. It is so tempting to want to crush the opponents, where we've got to remember what we're trying to achieve. If we attack here, we're going to get counter battery, which won't go well. There, that will go okay, but I think what we will do is elite reinforce these guys. I think we will do the same here. Keep them up to strength. Yes, brought the boom boom. But we're going to sink the boom boom. Okay, we have 10 more turns, because again, this is a delaying operation. Really wished I could have saved that Italian gun. It would have been useful over here. Now what this force is up here is to stop Rommel, or not, I got Patton from swinging north around to get to Messina this way, because he wanted to land in Palermo, which is sort of over here somewhere, I guess, on this map. Land there, and while the British was landing down here, but he was overruled for good reasons, but I think his plan was better. Maybe it's just because I'm a Patton fanboy growing up watching the movie, but I think they were seriously worried about the idea that if there was just one, or if there were two isolated beachheads, you know, the British down here south of Syracuse and the Americans over here at Palermo, they could be defeated in detail. Where landing at Gela here in support of the Syracuse area landings, they can, you know, quickly connect up and create a unified front. That is not a bad idea. Also, I believe from a naval and air perspective, which, not that Patton wasn't aware of those things, he most assuredly was, but that isn't his main focus. By splitting up the forces greatly, either you need to have them happen at different times, not simultaneous, or you've got to split up your escorting elements. Like Kesselring really thought the U-boats, and I think both Italian and German, because there were German U-boats operating in the Mediterranean, were going to have a more significant effect. I don't think he thought like it was going to sink all the Allied shipping or anything like that, but take a serious toll on Allied shipping, and they didn't. I think he knew the Regia Marina the surface fleet wasn't going to sally forth out of Taranto, just because they hadn't and they aren't. And the Italian Navy, the Regia Marina, I'm sure I'm butchering that, but was the most, shall we say, developed Italian armed force during World War II. More so than the Army, more so than the Air Force. But it is a big capital expense, and it is not a readily replaceable thing in a short period of time. You lose 100 fighters, you can build back 100 fighters in a month or two, or sooner, depending on, if you're in America, you're turning out a fighter every, a few minutes a day, all the factories combined. But you lose a ship, it's going to take years, and probably, a year or more, especially a big ship. I'm not talking destroyers or smaller vessels, but a cruiser, a battleship, it's going to take a year or more like 18 months to 2 years probably. I don't know how fast the Italian shipyards could work unhindered, let alone could work with bombing. So any ships they lose are basically gone for the duration of the war. You may go, well, what's the use of a navy then? Well, it forces your enemy. Now, when the enemy's weak, you've got air superiority in the region because you've got North Africa, you've got Sicily, and you're sort of, trying to keep Malta alive. Yeah, you can move out the fleet and deal with an attack the British fleet and keep them from, say, trying to effectively resupply Malta or something. That is a very, very close run thing. Oh yes, that's also, I love close combat, the Bloody First, and have played some of the Sicilian campaign. That's very good. It's a different game than this. I like them both. Obviously, close combat is much more realistic, but much more on a lower tactical level, which it needs to be. And so you can restrict the movements. And even when the British fleet could focus on the Mediterranean, it's going to overwhelm the Italians, or the British and the American fleet is. But it again still constricts their movement, because if they do move around in too small of formations, and you do have enough air up for some air cover, as well as, of course, reconnaissance, knowing that it's a small force moving around, your fleet can operate. But once that is done, once you've sunk them, they can no longer do so. So the idea is that the fleet, well, it's, up over, off over here, is sort of keeping, at least the idea is keeping from a direct invasion of the Italian mainland. That's sort of the idea with the air cover. So you're sort of forcing naval support, whether it's like the Brooklyn here doing offshore battery fire support, or just escorting support, all the lighter escorts keeping the subs away. They'll have to be concentrated, or they can be just concentrated for one sort of big joint fleet for the landings here. Or you've got to break that up to the two operations, as well as the air, longer flight times, not as much coordination. Kesselring achieved in Sicily basically complete coordination, at least on the German side, between the air and ground forces. He puts the Luftwaffe manned or units of the AA units entirely under the Army command, which is not normal practice for the Germans. So they had that completely integrated. And since he was also the Luftwaffe commander in the area, he, well, at one point, Richthofen, and he's the sort of immediate Sicilian commander for whatever float is down here. I don't know the number. Does withdraw some of the air just before one of the counterattacks. So it's not complete, 100%, but it is rather well coordinated of the operation with the air. So they do that, which is not happening with the Allies. There is not good coordination between the Navy, between the Air Force, the Army Air Corps, I should say, and the RAF, and the ground forces. It's a much more cumbersome system of, going, from some Army units, higher command authority, then talking to the RAF, and then the RAF planning the air operation. It's a much bigger loop going on there, which has a significant impact. The Germans streamlined that locally much better than the Allies did. So I can see the Allies' desire to have a sort of joint area landings as being a very good idea. Now, what Patton sort of, Patton is told to, because the British were going to move up along this way to Messina, he's told to support them on their flank. Now, the Allies, the Americans hadn't done so well in Tunisia. The British were, at this point, very unsure of how good the Americans are going to fight, especially the Kasserine Pass. But even before Kasserine, you can look at some of the Morocco situations where the Americans are operating once they sort of get the local Vichy French on their side. Now, there's some real fighting going on prior to that, but once they get them on their side, they're often bunkering down, and Eisenhower has to fire a few generals who establish big, huge divisional headquarters that are some sort of big, almost mine complex of underground tunnel bunker situations that looks like they're setting up a World War I, front line. And that's probably because the experience of the American officers, the generals and whatnot, are from World War I. And so they're still thinking in that sort of mindset as opposed to an aggressively offensive mindset. So he has to fire a few generals, and that eventually ends up with Patton doing fairly well eventually. Dealing with Patton's always a bit rough. So Patton does support the British on the flank, but uses his main push, sort of like what's happening here, is to push up to here and then push along here for a joint sort of pincer movement, and from his perspective, a race to Messina, which my understanding is he wins. We're going to try to stop that. Okay, let's see. I think we've done all that we can do for this turn. These guys, no, they haven't moved. Okay, these guys haven't moved. Yes, okay, good. We want to get them right to there. We want to get these guys to here. Good, I remember to do that. They're going to move there, protect these guys from being pushed from this side. I'm going to try to draw a bit of a line here, I think, with the Tigers. Once we get these guys out of the way. I don't know if the Bergson. Okay. Yeah, these probably should move to there. Okay. Let's end the turn. Okay, those mosquitoes are doing a lot of damage, but they are... Oh, and yes, so much so they just shot down our fighters. Well, excuse me. Wow, that's a lot of American armor there. Don't know if these guys will do well enough, but we will certainly see. Okay, we've got to take care of these mosquitoes. Hurricanes, okay. Wood. Oh, I forgot to shoot the AA. Man, I keep doing that. Okay. Well, we will remember here and here. That would have helped. That would have helped a lot. Yes, I know I'm moving close to that AA gun, but there is a reason. Oh, very nice. Okay, that worked out quite well. And the reason is this. We're going to come here and bomb this again. Very good. We are sinking the Brooklyn bit by bit, poking holes in it. Now here, well, that wasn't very effective. Hope they don't have more fighters to come and take him down. I'll undo this. Let's fire it. That first. Okay, that was painful. I think we're going to put you here. Okay, we have some more open slots. What I'm thinking I want to do we're going way up here. Wow, that's way far away. Okay. No, I don't think I want to do that. We're going to keep you down here as a reaction force. Now here. Okay. Don't know if I should have attacked with the other one first, but this does allow us to reinforce that. This would get fire support way too much. Now I would have, if I was actually going to attack here, focused much more heavily. My fire there. Okay, so this works, I think. Now that we've done that, you're within range. Okay, so we're going to, yes. You'll get some fighter escort from these fighters right above Catania. Hopefully you will survive any air attacks. And so we will be able to use our air power a bit more effectively. Very good. Anything else I should be doing? I don't think so. Want one more artillery piece right here. But that's vulnerable. Let's move at least temporarily you to there. Yeah, move those too far up there. No, you, okay. I hope you enjoy my sort of history analysis while playing these games. Oh, I forgot to oh damn. Forgot to reinforce those guys. That could be losing the whole campaign right there. Yep. Maybe not the whole campaign, but yep. Oh man. Not the whole campaign maybe, but that was a bad mistake. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna see if I can go back to the autosave. Oh. Oh, we didn't get artillery support there. Okay, well, let's load and turn 6. I think that's the one we want. Hey, Lum, how you doing? Yeah, that's the one we want. Okay. There we go. Not that that's perfect or anything. There we go. We'll see how this goes. I know they're up in the mountains and they're weak and they can be hit by a lot of infantry, but we'll see. Well, a little better. Okay, my stugs in the mountain didn't work. Retreat, retreat, yes, good. Okay, well that's at least better. That's better. Not great, not wondrous. We did lose the stugs, but it's better than losing everything. Yeah, maybe we should have kept the infantry back here with the stugs back here. Well, you're getting elite reinforced right off the bat. Not quite yet. They've not yet turned my flank here. Don't know that armor in the mountains is going to do what I want it to do. Well, let's move these guns to here. These guys up to here. We'll fall back the guns next turn, but here, okay, well, we have no enemy air in this area. No, we do down here. Okay, okay, that helps define some of these missions here. Oh, excellent, excellent, excellent. And that will now allow us to come down here and sink the Brooklyn, which did not happen historically. The Brooklyn survived the war, and we will also reinforce those guys. Now, let's see. go. We are slowly but surely bringing down their air capabilities. Well, that'll be a help. And we want to keep pushing these guys off this mount, because that gives them parity in attacks. But they are a problem as well. So let's... Yes, there's going to be counter battery fire, but not a whole lot. Okay, that hit them, hurt them, and made them retreat. Very good. That was very useful. It was also even more useful. Now here, yes. Push the Americans back, which will allow us to reinforce these guys here in a timely manner. I'm very unsure about that move. Okay, we need to deal with that artillery piece first. Oh, he's down to 5. Wow. From these Americans attacking in there in the trees. Yuck. Okay, you guys come up to the mountains. May not be the best. Can or should do. Okay, our Wehrmacht infantry has driven them away. Very good. Boomba. And they're driven away. Very good. They're pushed back. Very good. Very, very good. Reinforce them.